folks. Welcome to the farm. My name's Jason Jackson, and I'm here with another episode of the Southland Organics Poultry Biosecurity YouTube channel. If you're a commercial poultry farmer, there's a good chance that you've got quite a few of these ladders around. These step ladders, they can be used a lot in the chicken house. There's so many times when our overhead equipment needs to be worked on, when there's cables that break or pulleys that jump off, or something, a light bulb or wiring, anything up above. Having one of these ladders around can be a lifesaver for you. Well, I'm also here to tell you that they can also be a life ender. You see, there's a great safety risk that goes along with these ladders. And lots of times we don't necessarily think about it. We're often working inside these barns by ourselves. There may not be anyone else around, and taking safety precautions can be really, really important for us, because if we fall and hurt ourselves, it may be a while before someone comes and finds us. Being safe around one of the most commonly used pieces of equipment inside your poultry house is important. These ladders, they get used almost on a daily basis on my farm. So I want to talk with you about a few ways that you can use them to be a little bit safer. Now, as you notice, as I was coming down from that ladder, I had a tool in my hand. I placed the tool on the top of this ladder. I placed it inside a holder on the top of the ladder. Tools left on top of your ladder, unless they're in something that holds them and secures them, can be one of your biggest problems with these ladders. Stuff can fall off the top of them, especially if you've got one that's up above your head height. Well, don't ever set a drill down or a hammer. If you've got a hole or a place to secure them, that's fine. But any heavy objects on top of those ladders, they can be a really big hazard if it falls and hits you in the head, or falls and hits you in the foot. Something heavy on one of these ladders, well, it can be a big problem. So be careful about where you lay your tools down and when you're working with them. There's a couple other things about setting them up and just in general use of the ladder that I'd like to show you. I have seen a lot of people misuse ladders throughout the years. In fact, at one point in my career, I worked as an agricultural safety professional, and I had to go through a lot of OSHA training for that. When I first went through those training, one of the first things they talked about was using ladders. And they talked to us about all these different little crazy rules. I'm not here to try to tell you that you've got to follow exactly what OSHA guidelines say. I'm here to tell you, be safe and be smart, okay? I don't want to be nitpicky, but I want to show you some of the things that can happen that can cause you to fall. Slips, trips, and falls are the #1 problem on a farm. So when you're setting up your ladder, one of the first things you want to do is inspect it and make sure that it's safe. You want to check, make sure that it's rated for the amount of weight that you're going to be using. Some ladders are very light duty, and they may be only rated for 200 pounds, and a lot of us are more than 200 pounds. If you want to start getting up to one that'll handle the weight, that's what the weight of the worker and whatever equipment they have. So you've got to be careful. This particular ladder is rated for 250 pounds. So I can't get up on top of this ladder and carry a 50-pound bag with me. Now, I'm not saying I would need that inside a chicken house, but I've seen people do that multiple times. This ladder's not rated for that. So make sure that the ladder's in good condition, that it's not patched, broken, or messed up in any way. Just make sure and check your ladders on a regular basis, especially if you're not the only one working on your farm. If there are multiple workers that come in and out, you better take a real close look at it, because things tend to get torn up and just put back in their place, and nobody knows what happened to them. You all know what I'm talking about there. All right, so moving on, when you get ready to set that ladder up, you typically are going to have it stored someplace where it's closed. If you have it stored in a location where it is closed like this, when you get ready to take it to where you're going to set it up, don't just prop it up and lean it up against a wall and climb that way. That's not a proper method for using a ladder. Also, it should never be laid down horizontally and utilized this direction. These ladders can only be used with them open and the braces locked out. When you get ready to set it up, you need to make certain, and this is where us as poultry farmers really need to be cautious, that the surface that you're setting it on is not slick or overly soft. When you set it down that litter, press down on all 4 sides and make sure it's not in a bind. If you have flexed that ladder and it's in a bind, it may slip and jump with you. So make sure that you press it down into the litter very well before you climb on it. And as you climb, maintain 3 points of contact at all times. That's one of the main safety rules for climbing any ladder. Don't ever stand on the top step. I don't care how high it is, and if you can't reach it, don't stand on this top step. It becomes a huge safety issue, and that ladder can kick out from underneath you. And it's also not designed to support your weight. Usually, the top step is here, and this is just for a tool storage or placing screws, nuts, bolts, wire nuts, and things like that. So make sure that you don't stand on top of the ladder. Make sure you don't place the ladder on top of something. I've actually seen a farmer with a ladder on top of 4 buckets so he could stand up and reach the top. Let's be sensible here, guys. That's a bad idea, no matter how you look at it. Also, one of the main things that is a problem is when you have something that you can't quite reach. If you can't quite reach, don't lean out. The rule of thumb is to keep your belt buckle inside the sides of the ladder. If you can't reach it without your belt buckle coming outside, you need to move the ladder. Don't lean over, because when you lean one direction, it puts pressure the other way, and that ladder can fall over. And you go this way and the ladder goes that way, and you both come tumbling down to the ground. Be cautious about that. These are just a few simple safety tips to maybe help keep you safe on the farm. This has been Jason Jackson with the Poultry Biosecurity YouTube channel. I hope this is the best flock you guys have ever had. Thanks. Have a great day.